Hello and welcome. Great to have you along here for the NBA on 2K Sports Thursday Hoops. It's Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs going up against Monte Ellis and the Golden State Warriors. And now we head to Oakland, listening on Kevin Harlan, who's got the broadcast.
We're in the place they call Oracle Arena in Oakland, California, the home of the Warriors, where we're going to broadcast today's game live. Bringing you another exciting NBA broadcast here on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan, joining me, Clark Kellogg, and Steve Kerr. A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Jefferson and McDyess make up the forwards. Parker and Manu are the backcourt, and it's Duncan in at the 5. And for the Warriors, Monte and Curry in the backcourt. Terrell Wright and David Lee are the forwards. And it's Beadrinch in at the 5 spot.
Well, guys, it was the best start in franchise history for the Spurs last season. They got to 40 wins before the end of January. That was a team first. And finished with the second best record in the league, 61 wins.
And it's the Warriors to start out. Curry passes it to Ellis. Lee outside. Beadrinch. Nice movement. Curry kicks to Ellis. Over Duncan. And Monte Ellis the bucket on the assist by Curry. So, Steve, a team you used to play for, the Spurs, essentially a 50-win team for the last 13 seasons, including when you played for them, but they may be nearing the end of their championship window. At least some people think that. How about you?
Well, even Tony Parker said over the summer that he didn't think the Spurs could win a championship anymore. So what a run it's been. 50-win seasons, 13 times in a row. Just incredible. They'll still be very competitive, but this is not a championship team any longer.
On defense, San Antonio. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, Greg Popovich and I got a chance to talk for a bit. They'll be up against a very smart team on the offensive end, and he knows they'll have to be on top of their game to keep up with them on that end of the floor. Coach said that he emphasized communication on defense, as they'll need to be on the same page to get the stops necessary. Guys, let's see if they can do it.
Thanks, Doris. So keeping the opposing shooters in check, guys, they're making that a very high priority right now.
Easier said than done, though. I mean, they've got a lot of sharpshooters and guys that can fill it up.
Yeah, the big thing is you want to challenge every shot. I mean, you just can't give these guys airspace because they'll make you pay. And how about Steph Curry in just his second season in the NBA, led the league in foul shooting, a great three-point shooter at over 40% from there. So this guy is an incredible marksman.
Here's McDyess. Shot clock at 6. Parker. The fadeaway, and that one's good. And Steph Curry 2 seasons ago, the first rookie in NBA history to connect Clark on 45% from the floor, 40% from three-point territory, and then 85% from the free throw line.
Yeah, that's an impressive list of shooting percentage numbers there. And, you know, last year he matched or bettered all his marks from his first season in the league, so he's clearly a guy who can be considered a legend.
He puts it down with authority. Spike slam cam for another angle.
They had a clear path to the hoop the whole way.
Yeah, it doesn't get much easier than that, Steve.
Here's Curry. He's picked up by Parker. White dishes to Curry. Moving the ball well. Clock at 6. Ginobili against Dallas. His three-pointers off the mark.
You know, some criticize the hiring of Mark Jackson by the Warriors because he has no prior coaching experience, but he's full of confidence. He's a leader. I think he's going to be a tremendous success there. I don't doubt it at all.
To end the run, shot denied. San Antonio leading, and here's the break. Goes up. Here's Jefferson. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
That's good defense. Don't let a guy get a lay-in, foul hard, and send him to the free throw line.
Yeah, I like that billboard there, sending a message. You can't come in here and get anything free in our paint.
That free throw good from Jefferson.
Well, talking about Mark Jackson and his inexperience, remember Doc Rivers did the same thing. He took over Orlando without any coaching experience, and Doc has turned into one of the best coaches in the NBA. So Mark Jackson could be on a similar path. Very bright, very energetic, that can really relate to the players. I think he's a good fit for Golden State.
And he can't hit the second.
And Richard Jefferson coming off of a year last season where he started out strong, but he really didn't keep up the pace, and his consistency slipped as the season went on.
Back to that production dip by Jefferson, around 15 points in November, down to 9 or 10 at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's hard to put my finger on exactly what happened there, but clearly the numbers do indicate there was a big drop-off, and it carried over into the playoffs as well. His scoring really dropped in that series against the Grizzlies.
The first one falls.
Monte Ellis, guys, has been such an explosive player throughout his career, but I think he's matured quite a bit the last couple of years. He's become a better leader for the Warriors and a better representative for the Warriors organization.
Oh, free throw's good from Ellis. And Monte Ellis getting married. He married a police officer, and having his son really changed his life for the better. Even made him, he said, a better person. He's taken that spark and used it in his career as well.
You know, not surprised to hear that. Another level of responsibility and accountability. He really stepped up last season, setting the tone in practice, interacting more with his teammates, film study. Those are things that leaders do, and that's just the kind of leadership that the team needed.
And buried any ill will that may have existed. Of course, it was reported in different degrees between himself and Steph Curry. And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
One of the concerns for the Golden State Warriors after last season was fortifying its bench, and that was an area where they really tried to improve this past offseason.
Here's Williams. Backing down his lead. The jump hook. Shot's good. Well, going back to the Golden State Warriors bench, every team needs those 6-7 guys that can be relied upon every game for consistent play. Actually, whether starting or coming off the bench.
Without question, Kevin, the Warriors were lucky if they had 4 consistent players all year. I mean, they've got a decent nucleus to build around, but absolutely, depth is an area this team has to improve.
Shot clock at 5. There's Neal with the 3. And again, it's the Spurs from deep.
Now, you guys know the 3 ball is his bread and butter.
Ellis with it. He's picked up by Parker. Williams for 3. Good, and the assist goes to Ellis.
Now they get those 3 points back in a hurry, don't they?
Yeah, they sure did. Didn't take them long at all to respond.
Here's Neal. The 3 is launched. They get it back.
That's got to feel good. Ending the quarter on a positive note.
Yeah, you would know that feeling well, my friend, wouldn't you?
And a high-scoring first quarter. Both teams really filling it up. Spurs lead by 3.
And a good start for this club. I like the way they played together, really moved the ball and did a nice job offensively.
Yeah, excellent ball movement, and it's paid off on the scoreboard, too.
We'll be back momentarily. And off we go. A close game now starting the second quarter. Here's Ginobili. And now brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the floor for San Antonio, they've got Gary Neal. Ginobili out there with McDyess. Then there's Blair, and it's Parker in at the point guard position. Blair, the pass to Parker, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot two.
Well, you look at the Spurs, and you wonder how have they been so dominant these years, and it helps when you get a guy like Tony Parker with the 28th pick in the draft, a guy who's been an all-star a few times.
The first free throw is good. Clark, you mentioned Parker's draft. He did fly under the radar, but that San Antonio team, Steve, once again uncovering a gem.
Well, not a lot of guards had found success since coming over from Europe. More big men, if you look at history. But Parker really was one of the few exceptions. I mean, he came over here and immediately started for the Spurs and has been an all-star caliber player ever since.
And a chance here to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Hey, Kevin. Jeremy Lin, a Bay Area native, grew up a Warriors fan and went to plenty of games at Oracle Arena. Lin, growing up, had his doubters. Even after winning a state championship at Palo Alto High School, he wasn't offered any D1 scholarships. After starring at Harvard, he went undrafted. And after all that, to be playing in the NBA for his hometown team has got to be a special feeling, guys.
It's something else, all right. Thank you, Doris. Warriors trail by 5.
You know, guys, the Spurs played great basketball against their Western Conference foes. I mean, they went 38-14 against the West.
Here is Parker. 7 points in the game. Here's Neal. He's guarded by Williams. McDyess kicks to Parker. Takes it up. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. It's on Andres Beatrice. Steve, when you look at the Spurs' regular season dominance a season ago, what was the key in your mind?
I thought it was Greg Popovich's style. I mean, he decided to go away from that traditional inside-out game. They got much faster as a team. They played a higher pace. And Pop knew they had to take advantage of their scoring and to cover up for the fact that they're no longer one of the most talented teams in the NBA. I'll tell you what, one of the reasons the Spurs finished last year with the best record in the Western Conference was the play of Tony Parker. He was really the key part of that offense. They made a point of pushing the ball and scoring more in transition. And, of course, Tony Parker, one of the fastest players in the NBA.
Steve talking about Parker. Duncan alone, Clark, isn't enough to get the best record in the West, best record in the NBA. You need a second star, and Parker was that.
Well, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, they kind of team up together to be the other superstar to go alongside Duncan, and I think they're really underrated. I mean, in terms of what they're able to produce on a nightly basis and the kind of pressure they put on the other team's defense. You know, nice work getting inside that time. I mean, that's the spot where his height advantage is really going to pay off for him, and he used it.
Jefferson against Thornton. Ginobili dishes to Blair. Back to Ginobili. Launches a 3, and that one's good. Ginobili's got 6 points.
That's 9 straight points coming off 3 3-pointers. The defense just getting shelled.
Steve, the threes are killing him. I think they've got to find a way to chase him off the three-point line.
Wasted no time on that one. 6 points for Ellis.
You look at how they've been scoring the basketball, and it's really fun to watch them because all the baskets are coming off assists.
Well, keep that in mind. I mean, they're a much more efficient team when they make that extra pass. When they get in trouble, it's when they're taking quick shots.
6 on the shot clock. And here's Splitter over Udo. Again, the Spurs good for 2.
That's a nice hoop for a guy that typically doesn't score a lot.
Warriors trail by 5. Now a timeout called by Golden State.
He wants to make a few adjustments out there, and he's running through those with his team right now.
Some changes for Golden State. Andres Biedrins is checked in for Utah. Wright comes in for Monte Ellis. And it's AC Law in for Steph Curry. Then for the Spurs, Tim Duncan is checked in for Blair. McDyess comes in for Manu Ginobili. And Gary Neal subbed in for Tony Parker. Ball's knocked loose.
That's a rare turnover here. Just their first here in the half. That's one thing we've seen them do quite well, staying in possession of the ball.
Yeah, though they're trailing, so they'll need to continue to take care of the ball, but they've got to start making shots, too.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Well, one of the Spurs' keys to success is always having at least one three-point threat on the floor to spread it at all times. With a capable Tim Duncan down low, that certainly makes sense. He's a big man who can pass and make the right plays. As Greg Popovich says, the way the game is played now, you have to have somebody to spread the floor. Guys, it has worked in the past.
Thank you, Doris. With someone like Duncan, having a free threat on the floor is incredibly valuable.
Well, a lot of teams rely on a three specialist to spread the floor now.
Well, that's what San Antonio has tried to do for years. I mean, put three-point shooters around Tim Duncan to give him the space he needs down on the block. So that's a huge help for him.
And he knocks down the first one.
The Warriors last season played the Eastern Conference teams to a draw as far as wins and losses. But in the Western Conference, which is obviously deeper, they were just 21 and 31.
Good on both. Well, and for the Warriors, Steve, you just talked about that Western Conference record of 21 up and 31 down. A lot of shootouts. But how do they come away victorious, Clark?
Well, I think the front office has hit it on the head. I mean, they've said they've focused on needing to get longer and stronger. And in the West, you've got to have the bodies to bang with the big boys. So they've got to get not only longer, but stronger, bigger.
Feeds to Thornton. The feed now to Biedrins. Lee. Crafty move. Thornton. Tries again. And the basket by Biedrins. Biedrins has got 4 this quarter.
Boy, I like the rugged work on the inside that led to that very easy putback. That's going after it there, guys.
Here's Neal. He has 6. Backing him down is Duncan. 3 seconds left. Again, the Spurs good for 2. It'll count. We'll be right back here live from Oakland.
And we got a fun game going on out in Oakland as HP presents our halftime report. The Spurs have been rolling along. You can talk about lights out shooting, but this is out of this world. They simply can't miss out there. Tony Parker leads the game in scoring. He's up to 9 points and also sharing it around with a few assists. And no quitting the Warriors. They came to win. They've been aggressively attacking the rack and getting a lot of points right at the rim. Darrell Wright playing well in the first half. He has 6 points, also helped out with a pair of rebounds. These two enjoyed great first halves, really leading the way for both teams. We could be in for a great finish. And that just about wraps it up for us here in the studio. Now let's get you back to Kevin and the crew for the second half.
And welcome back to Oracle Arena here in the Bay Area. We're in Oakland tonight as we get set to resume play. Here's Parker. David Lee and Andres Biedrins up front. Monte and Curry in the backcourt. And it's Wright in at the 3, the small forward. And that's the group for Mark Jackson as we begin the second half. And McDyess backs in. Deflects the pass. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And Duncan gets it to go on the assist by Parker. Parker's got 3 assists tonight.
An excellent display of passing out there, fellas. I mean, 8 of their last 10 points have been assisted on.
Well, they continue to find the open man and play unselfishly. This is true team basketball we're seeing.
Finds the open look, and it's on target. 8 points for Ellis.
And they are just lighting him up from mid-range area.
You know, sometimes we forget about the value of the mid-range or in-between game. This team has made 8 of their last 10 with that shot, the in-between shot.
Sweet move, and he zips to the basket and lays it in. Nick Dice has got his second bucket of the night. Warriors trail by 7. Now here's Ellis. Outside Curry. Wright for 3. Good, and Curry gets the assist. Wright's got 9 points.
Tell you what, Darrell Wright really burst onto the scene last season after spending the early part of his career in Miami. The Warriors signed him as a free agent, and it was a great pickup. He led the league and made 3-pointers, and even had 9 in one game for Golden State.
A step-back shot here, and the Spurs scoring again.
Hot start for this club coming out of halftime. That's 3 in a row now.
More on Wright and his three-point shooting. He was even invited to the three-point shooting contest just to give you more of an idea of what kind of shooter he really is.
Kevin, he didn't win the event, but he still showed well and almost got to the final round. Still, he's a great guy to have for spreading the floor because of his size and his range, and he can finish around the basket too. So this young man is coming. He's found a nice home at Golden State.
Now a timeout called by Golden State.
Well, with the Warriors' new ownership group, there's a lot of excitement from these fans who are among the best in the NBA. And you better believe that this ownership group is very passionate about building a winner, and they're going to do everything they can to make it happen.
There's Amundsen. He's checked in for Andres Beatrice. And a switcher also for San Antonio. Splitters checked in. Here's Ellis. 8 points for him. They double team Ellis. Lee, left side, sticks it from 17 feet. Lee's got 8 points. I would agree, Steve. You know, there's a new feeling and optimism, a new talent base, new ownership, and I love their brand new, their new uniforms last season. We've seen that logo before. So.
And the loyal fans hoping that the new blood will bring greater success. I mean, some of the best fans in the NBA.
Absolutely.
With just one playoff appearance over the last 17 seasons, that won't exactly be the highest benchmark to clear, so they might be able to get back in the mix.
They've got great fans in that Bay Area, some of the best in the NBA.
Yep.
What an offensive display he's putting on.
And at this point, Steve, you got to put more pressure on him, bring help, and make him move the ball.
Duncan outside. Over Amundsen. Again, the Spurs good for 2.
I'll tell you what, he's made more than a few of those in his career.
Warriors trail by 4.
One thing about Pop is that he can be hard on his own players, but he gets their respect because he's equally hard on all of his players. I mean, you can be the 12th man on the bench of Tim Duncan. If you mess up, he's going to let you know about it.
Now Ginobili. He has 6. Parker left side. Drops in the layup for 2. Now it's a 6-point Spurs lead. What do you think, Steve? This is something that all coaches can mimic of Pop, the way he is hard on player 1 through 12, and certainly has his favorites and guys he's had around, but I think he treats them all like men. I think they appreciate that. His lines of communication are amongst the best in the NBA.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor. He can be very pointed and serious, but also very funny, and he knows when to be light and when to be really hard on his players. And so I think they have a good understanding that he cares about them and they want to be coached and they really accept whatever he brings on that day.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
Boy, it really had to be deflating for the Spurs after winning 61 games in the regular season to be bounced out of the playoffs by the Grizzlies in the first round. It raised some interesting and difficult questions for them moving forward.
some changes here for the Warriors. Andres Biedrins is checked in for Amundsen. Udo comes in for David Lee, and it's Williams in for Jarrell Wright. The Spurs also changing it up. DeJuan Blair, he's checked in for Splitter. McDyess comes in for Richard Jefferson, and Gary Neal subbed in for Tony Parker. Here is Blair. He kicks to Ginobili. Goes right up. It falls. Ginobili's got 8. Here's Ellis. There's 49 seconds left in the third. Picked up by Ginobili. Williams passes to Ellis. And another 3 for Golden State.
It's been a great day for him from the field, but his team still trailing.
Here's Neal. 6 points for him.
You know, his head was on the swivel that time, and he was able to anticipate that pass.
And Biedrins kicks to Ellis. Dishes to Curry. Ginobili against Ellis. 6 to shoot. There's Williams with the 3. Here's Udo. Lifts up. And yes, sir, that one drops. Now just a 1-point Spurs lead. And we've reached the end of the third quarter. Just a terrific game so far. It's been a clinic from Tony Parker.
Yeah, so far in this one, he's played a different role than normal, but he's done a nice job as this team's playmaker here today.
And all of it's worked for the most part. I mean, he might not be known as a dime dropper, but after this game, he will be.
It's the Spurs up by 1. And now our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, has a report for our Sprite Spark of the game. Doris?
Hey, Kevin. Well, it's the Spurs with the Sprite Spark. They've done an exceptional job executing their game plan and look fantastic out there. You can't help but think they'll close the game out if they continue this level of play, guys.
All right, Doris. Here's Ellis. So with Duncan sitting on the bench, here's how the floor looks for Greg Popovich. Jefferson and McDyess make up the forwards. Gary Neal is out there with Tony Parker, and it's Blair in at the pivot spot manning the middle. And it's Wright missing.
And that's not really his range. Has a tough time in that mid-range area.
Open look. The shot's off to the right, but it bounces in. McDyess has got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Spurs. Biedrins dishes to Williams. And stolen by Blair.
Excellent steal that time. Pesky defensive play on his part.
Neal's shot is off.
Not too much congestion in the lane. I think he could have gotten a better shot that time, no question.
That's why you push the ball. You score before the defense has a chance to set up.
Exactly. They had the defense on its heels that time.
Parker outside. He feeds it to Neal. Udo comes in with the double team. Out of bounds. They'll keep possession.
He was just a hair away from making that steal.
Steve, I like the instincts there. Terrific. To see the pass coming and knock it away, well done.
Different look here for the Warriors. It was Amundsen who's checked in for Biedrins. Lee comes in for Udo. Al Thornton's checked in for Reggie Williams. And Steph Curry is subbed in for Monte Ellis. Then for the Spurs, Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Blair. Duncan comes in for Antonio McDyess. And it's Ginobili in for Richard Jefferson. That's good. 15 points for Parker.
He is truly a special offensive talent, and he's always going to cash in on those kind of chances.
Moving it around nicely. Thornton passes to Curry. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
Kevin, Stephen Curry was the 7th pick in the 2009 draft, and If they did that over, he might be the second pick. I mean, he's a terrific shooter and good potential as a playmaker. I think the Warriors got a steal.
Free throw good by Curry. Talking about the future of Steph Curry, Clark. He joined Team USA for the World Championships in 2010. And to make the team after just his rookie season, Steve, a very impressive distinction.
Yeah, winning a gold medal. What an experience that was for Steph Curry and for a Warriors organization that hasn't had an all-star in almost 15 years. Curry represents the future of that franchise.
Duncan with it over Thornton, and it's San Antonio with another.
Boy, he really used his height there.
He sure did, Steve. I mean, a nice touch on that shot.
And here is Curry to tie it up. Gets it to go. And that makes it a tie ball game.
Well, it's been a long battle, but they have finally gotten the game even again.
Yeah, you wonder though, I mean, battling back like that sometimes can give you a mental edge, but other times maybe you've used too much energy to get all the way back, so we'll see.
Lee against Duncan. Shot clock at 6. Launches it. The Warriors pull it in. Outside Curry. Covered by Parker.
There's a lot of contact there. Good call.
You know, he bothered his shot, but he still got a pair of free throws out of it.
And the free throw is good, now leading by 1. Some changes for Golden State. Viadrich comes in for Lewis Amundsen. And it's Ellis in for Al Thornton. And the Spurs making a change here as well. McDyess is checked in. That's also good, so he hits both free throws.
Just perfection for them from the foul line in the second half.
Well, they haven't missed, and they look as cool and as comfortable as a baby in a nice bassinet. Every time they step up to the line, it's easy and relaxed.
Parker kicks to McDyess. Here's Ginobili, and it's good. Fought through contact, hits the shot, and go to the free throw line.
What a game for Ginobili. He's got 10 points, and he's picked up 2 3-pointers to add to his totals.
Well, one thing that's great, when you're knocking down that three and you're feeling confident, you want the ball. You want to get more shots from downtown.
Can't complete the three-point play, and it's still tied up. Even numbers. From 7, and Curry puts it in.
That was interesting. He was at a huge disadvantage size-wise, but he found his way to the basket.
Well, Steve, you know, giving up some height on the mismatch didn't really affect him.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They're down by 2. 1:36 left to play in the final quarter. And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Kevin, Greg Popovich was just going over the plan with his team. He gave his guys the green light to keep firing from downtown, telling them, listen, I like the work you're doing out there. Keep finding those gaps on the perimeter. They're giving us open shots.
Thank you, Doris. Parker up top, guarded by Curry. They're moving it around, and stolen by Wright.
The water has been choppy for him since halftime from a turnover standpoint. He had just 1 in the first half, but that number has skyrocketed since.
Now here's Parker. And Curry picks him up defensively. Ginobili dishes to Parker. McDyess, good. McDyess has got 4 this quarter.
Tell you what, it has been all offense all game long.
You know what? This is really fun to watch, guys. I mean, as a coach, though, this is when you want to just harness this energy and bottle it up and ride it all the way.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. They're ahead by 2. 1:03 left here in the fourth quarter. .103 left in the fourth quarter. Now here's Ellis. He's covered closely.
Well, they did have a foul to give, but they couldn't get it done before the shot attempt.
Yeah, you really want to try to foul in that situation before he gets into the shooting motion, and it just didn't work out that time.
And he misses the first one. Connects on number 2, and that makes it a 3-point lead. Here comes Parker. Parker double teamed. Curry meets him. Parker against Curry. 4 on the shot clock. Shot's good by Neal.
What a clutch shot there.
Really, the definition of clutch.
Now Curry. He's picked up by Parker. From downtown. Gets the 3 to fall.
And he gets a 3 of his own. Good answer there.
Yeah, and he's not scared to trade shots like that.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. They're behind by 3. 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Here's Parker. And Curry picks him up defensively. Off the pick. Good! And that shot brings them to within just 1.
Well, we know he can run hot or cold, but I like the way he's playing today.
And they need to stop the clock, so there's a foul.
Well, not much of a choice there. They pretty much had to foul.
Yeah, that's the only option they had to try to get the ball back to even this thing up.
Good on the first, and that'll put him up by 2. Two for 2, and it's a 3-point ball game.
Taking full advantage of the charity stripe here. Stretching that margin to 3.
It's Ginobili outside. He's off from 3.
Boy, that was a tough one, because if that goes down, you tie the score.
And you know they wanted it to go down. They put together a nice run. That would have tied it.
So it's a narrow victory for the Warriors, pulling out the W. Well, they don't get much more exciting than that, Clark.
They sure don't. And when it was gut check time, this team kept their composure, kept their emotions in check, and got it done.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, Monte Ellis.